Today on Media Litter Sandwich.
I want to find out how to get the best shot possible for the best price.
Well, you want to shoot that and that and that and that and that. Do you still got room on your card?
I don't know.
Welcome to Media Litter Sandwich, episode 101. First off, we'd like to thank everyone that came to episode 100 that came in person. Thank you. We had people, just check it out. It was really cool. We re-interviewed people that were on before, and we had people that never been on before, never even heard of us, came out. It was a really fun time. Once again, thank you to Falling Down Beer Company for hosting us and everyone that helped out. Just way too many names, but we go to it into the video today. First off, second now. Also, you could always catch Media Litter Sandwich at MediaLitterSandwich.com. Many podcast apps, and Tuesday night 7:00 p.m. on dvradio.net or on your TuneIn app, DV Radio, but we'll be in the chat room so you can talk to us. And who is us? We've got Crazy Mark from
CrazyMark.com.
And you have history of,
boy do I ever,
wedding photography, videography, band videography.
Oh man, been there, done that.
At musician, been on the stage, ton.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm Toaden from Toaden.com, and I have history as a videographer, and of course now I'm a podcaster and an editor. So the reason I bring that up, because one, we don't have a guest today, and two, we're talking about picking your best shot. How do you get the progression of just shooting everything? Because that's what amateurs do, right?
Really, yeah. That's how you start off. You start off somewhere and you go, hey, I'm going to go out and I'm going to shoot bands. All of a sudden you get in your mind, your topic is going to be like, I was Crazy Mark, and I'm going to feature local bands and get the action out on the scene, That was the whole idea.
Yeah, and we're talking videography and photography. And not only are you go out there and start shooting every single band, the opening band, the main act band, everything you can from the audience, because we're talking, when you're starting out, we're not necessarily saying when you have a press pass, maybe you're a friend's band, you're doing his thing, and you're also shooting the crowd, you're shooting this, shooting that. Yeah. And at the end of the day, you have...
Oh my God, you've got hours of footage, hours upon hours, because...
photographs, so many photographs, you don't even know which ones to edit, so you just throw them all up.
See, but that was the thing. I had to not only video the band, but I was also covering bands for a thing called Jam Rag. That was the local music magazine that was out back in the 90s and 2000s, that kind of thing. But yeah, in one hand I have a camera, and the other hand I have a video camera. And it's like click, click, zzz, running the stuff. At the end of the day...
It's so much. Oh, it's hard for me now when we go out to events and we're covering it as a podcast, and I'm covering it as an event on Toaden.com. I stopped doing that as much because it's already hard for me because I got to set up the podcast, then I run out, grab some cosplayers and stuff for the video. Sometimes I have to take pictures and stuff too. And then I go back, do the podcast. I'm also producing the podcast, getting a guest. So I have at least 2 projects going on at once. And I'm also trying to say hi to all, to anyone that comes up to me, make friends, network, and enjoy myself. There's a lot going on, and you really learn to pick your shots.
Yeah, Toaden, because I noticed when I was out on the scene, first met you, you'd be the man for everything. And when you get caught up in the energy and all the action, you can't say no. And then all of a sudden you're out there, you're catering to everyone. And
that was when I was doing same-day editing, too.
So, I mean, what was it? Was it Red Bull every hour? What was it, dude? What kept you going back then?
Sleeping well. The time, I was still exercising, which I needed to get back into.
Crazy Mark never slept at one point.
And I still do this, because I still have to do a lot. I still have a good lunch. I still eat before I go to an event.
Yeah.
That way, I don't have to pause. If I'm pausing for anything, it's to talk to somebody, it's to do something with my camera, or it's literally just to sit down and take a few minutes to myself, and then I come back out.
Dude, man, it's like I'd run off to the event. I wouldn't stop for lunch or anything, but I'd shove my pocket full of Cliff bars or protein bars, you know? Joe
Yeah,
Weider.
you gotta be careful with those. Too.
You
do.
It's like the chocolate thing that tastes more like chalk. You know?
It's all protein. It's all protein. And if you're not working out, it'll slow you down. Because I did that when I was going to school with a lot of the Cliff Bars and stuff. Because I was really hungry and I was working a day job and doing all the classwork and at a night class, and after that I still had to work an open mic night or a stand-up comedy thing. You know, so that was the only thing I had to eat it sometimes. So I would eat the protein bars because it would fill me up. But I wasn't, even though I was still working, I wasn't physically burning the calories, and I gained a lot of weight during that time.
Hey, I'm the master of gaining weight right here. No, really, I found that to follow up on those protein bars, I cut back on those, and I included the magical apple, you know? Everybody remembers that dumb viral video that went out because I was eating an apple and interviewing at the same time.
Okay, so getting back to it, getting a lot of footage. Why do people do it? Why do people shoot everything?
Okay, a lot of times you're trying to be, again, the good guy. You've shown up for the band.
No,
and
I'm going to take another
step
back. Let's define everything.
Okay.
When people don't know what to shoot, that looks cool. Let me shoot it. Well, there were fans at the concert. Hey, someone had a drone. The drone looked really cool. I think people should know that there was a drone here. That looks really cool. Oh, these fans are dressed like this. They're dressed like the band. They're dressed like Wonder Woman. Oh, that kid's adorable being here. Oh, there's the person there to photograph. Okay, there's them smiling, there's them laughing, there's them with other people. Oh, those people are cool. Oh, we got another band. We got an opening band. Oh, we got another speaker. Well, these are presenters too. Let me cover this as well. And that list adds up and up and up.
Yes, it does.
And they're not taking one shot, one photograph or one video clip because, well, what if I want... Hey, you know what? What if I decide I don't want them turning left? I want to use a clip them turning right. I'm going to cover all my bases, and that way I can put a great thing together. What you don't realize is maybe you only needed one or two shots, especially if it's a live event. Keep in mind, most of our experience are live events.
Yeah.
Where we have to capture what's happening in the moment. Sometimes we get people to recreate that.
So the one thing I learned, though, covering
we can't
bands,
spend all day on one cosplayer.
Yeah. If you do that, then all of a sudden it's like, wow, what footage do I use? But back to bands or covering the live event.
Yeah.
What I've always found, and I told all the bands from the very beginning, I'm not going to record any cover tune you play. Oh, why won't you do that? Because I want to hear you. I don't want to hear you recreating 8675309 yada 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 gold earring and overplayed. I want your stuff. But the thing is like you can't record all of their stuff because again, there's all that footage you have. You don't want to spend hours going through it. All the backlog.
What's the final product? Are you just gonna, it also depends what the final product's gonna be.
But the final product again is if it's gonna be just them playing, then you're gonna have to, I'd say, ask for some money because you're covering a band.
Yeah, if you're covering the entire night and getting every one of their songs, I mean, for whatever reason, archival footage for them to to listen to themselves and see what they've done. It could be like that because a lot of people, you can make a decent side job just doing that for high school games, for football and stuff like that. For parents will pay you.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you what, the sports and wedding and anything that's popular. But when you start dealing with artists, and I know a lot of artists out there are going to start killing me. The haters are going to hate. They're going to say, "Crazy Mark, how dare you? I thought
you're crazy."
It's like I thought you stood up for the scene. mean? I thought you meant everything to the hometown artist. But when it came down to it, I literally burned myself out running out to every rock and roll show, recording every band, and trying to get everything and trying to mean everything to everybody, when by the time it was said and done with, I really never had enough time to edit. That's what it's a time budgeting thing as well.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure you've experienced that, Toaden. You go out and maybe you got caught up in all the zombie action or the Nerf action, and then before you knew it, a couple weeks had gone by and you haven't produced anything.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you end up going to all these events. You're like, I don't know when I'm going to edit this. I have 6 videos. And that's when you start setting up a schedule. And unfortunately, there's times where I can't do events. I mean, right now, I have a lot more on my plate where I don't do as many events as I used to. And there's some events that I don't want to say no to. I've done in the past. I have fun. I have a good relationship with the organizers, the attendees, all that good stuff. It's not that I don't want to go, I just can't always go. And sometimes, which I'm going to start doing this a little bit more, I might go, but not to cover, but to have fun.
That's a good point. I mean, that was...
And for concerts, that's something I started doing a long time ago because I really liked doing video at concerts. I will only do it if I'm getting paid, if I'm good friends with the band I'm covering, because I prefer to watch the show. That's me personally. Because,
yeah, there's actually a famous photographer from National Geographic once said, pet the whale. And what he meant was, you're going to be out there with all your gear, you want to get all the great shots, but don't forget to put down your camera at some point and take part in the action, enjoy yourself,
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that part in, I don't know if you saw the movie about Walter Mitty, where he went looking for the elusive photographer who was trying to get a shot of the elusive snow leopard.
Okay.
At one point, he finds him. He travels to Iceland. He goes everywhere. Finally finds the photographer. He's like the dude guy, almost like from the other movie, that one movie. But as far as things go, they sit down and they start talking about things. And he looks through his zoom lens, and here comes the elusive snow cat. And Walter asks the photographer, why aren't you taking a photo of this? He says, sometimes you just want to stop and admire what's happening. You want to be part of life. You don't want to always be clicking that camera trying to catch everything.
And what that does is it gives you perspective. I mean, when you do like a cosplay event, as soon as you walk through the door, you're like, that looks really cool. That looks really cool. Oh my, I gotta get a shot of that. And as hard as it is sometimes, I mean, yeah, it's true. If you don't get a shot of that right now, you might miss it. But sometimes, you have to make time for yourself. You have to go make sure you get your press pass. Yeah. Make sure you know where you're going. There's some things that come first. At least in my book. I mean, when I first started doing this stuff, I'd run them to. But if that cosplayer is, keep in mind, for us being YouTubers and stuff, we want that cosplayer to look through their stuff and give you more views and share you. If they're going to be at the event and betray being at that event, they're going to be at that event for a while. If they're literally just showing up for a costume contest, they're not representing that event. In my mind, for my videos, you're only there for the costume contest. You're not there, like for a Comic-Con, you're not there to go through all the independent artists and meet people and network and to have fun. You're literally just going for the costume contest. You're not representing what that event is supposed to mean and how it will promote the event and how the other attendees want to see that event. If you are, there's a good chance I'll get you in the video later. I'm going to walk around the event. I'm going to see the general environment, and that's what I want to capture. Of course, I'm not a videographer that is chasing one type of person. We all know what I'm talking about. There's photographers and videographers. All they're doing is looking for those skimpy cosplayers, the cheesy things that will make a good thumbnail. I'm looking for the
Oh,
environment.
Toaden, I haven't been to Dragon Con yet. Have you? No.
Oh, there's so many cons that fit that profile. Maybe not that profile you're thinking of. But that's, I want, because I do a family channel and I want people to watch. I don't care who they are. I want to watch it and feel like they were there for 4 minutes or relive that moment or that event for that 4 minutes. I want the organizer a year from then to look at and be like, that was the event. That's what it was. And then reshare it and send it to the newspapers that they're sending their press package to and be like, was the event last year.
Right.
This is it. This is what it was.
Right on.
And you get shared and re-promoted again.
And that's how we do it there,
Mm-hmm.
It's more than just, and that's what bothers me sometimes, is that you'll have all the cosplayers show up just before the contest, and after it's over, they're gone. Mm-hmm. And I'll just say to myself, wait a minute here. Some of the better costumes that would have shown up, that were there, they left. They missed out.
They left hours ago.
Yeah,
they came, they bought stuff, they hung out, and they done so much stuff. They went around every single table. They were tired and they went home.
Well, the thing was, no, a lot of those cosplayers show up just a few minutes before the contest.
Well, I'm talking about the ones that actually participate in the event.
Yeah, and then sometimes they show up. There's some that show up later, and I've caught some really great cosplayers. Then these days, I'm looking more and more towards, okay, don't cut me off here, furries. But there's a lot of great artwork and a lot of great
furries, I want to clarify this. When he says furry, he means people in actual full anamorphic costumes and beautiful, like they are absolutely like mascot costumes. Some are absolutely beautiful.
I mean, like Toxic Trashy, Scar Wolfcon,
Yeah, I know that term has several different things, but the only real way we really hear it nowadays, the only one that really matters is these beautiful costumes. And we've met so many great cosplayers and people that create their own characters. Some of them create books based off these characters. They're absolutely beautiful.
I mean, Rotten Sushi, all of them, they come up. And what is it? Panda? Was it something? Was it Mystic Panda cosplay or something?
You're better at remembering these.
I'm just saying, I actually kind of sort of sponsored that full body furry kind of. It was actually
Sharp
Scyther.
Costumes is one. That one comes to my mind from Hell Michigan Zombie Walk.
Yeah, it was it was Scyther cosplay from the Monroe Comic Con who won last year. Yeah, congrats out to you. But as far as getting the footage, getting the topics, the subjects that I want, what I look back on though is not to let the camera run and run and run. If you're at a point to where, say for example, it's a band, you're going to get the song that you've spoken with them beforehand, okay? I know I'm talking in parables now, but you said, hey, what's your favorite, 3 songs, okay? Get these 3 songs. So at least you have a full song in the background, so when you're dropping in the B-roll of the cool fans bouncing off the walls or crowd surfing or something like that, you still have that song going,
Let's go ahead and compare this to other things, okay, I'll bring up zombie walks first. When I go to a zombie walk, I have a list of things I'm going to shoot, but I never know what's going to happen. So I'm not running around with my camera recording the entire time, because I'm also going to have a lot of dead moments where I'm running and the camera's pointing at the ground, or where I'm trying to set people up to do a thing and it never happens. I wait till I'm ready to record. I hit record and then I stop. And that lets me go through my footage. Okay, that's that clip, and I don't have to go through a lot of dead air for it. How does that compare to? I mean, sometimes things work, sometimes they don't. But weddings, weddings are a little bit different than zombie walks, where anything good can happen. You just have to be ready for it.
Yeah, the main rules for that right there.
When action starts, you hit record, but if you're not ready for the action, you might miss it, and that's okay. There are so many times where I set up a scene of like 6-7 zombies in front of me, and I start recording. People see my for some reason, when you're out with the camera and they see you actually working, they see you actually doing some cool stuff, they think that camera is always rolling. And there's times where people think that you're even recording stuff going on behind you. So I literally will take 5 minutes to set up a scene, people willing to participate, and there's a better scene going on behind me.
So you got a rear view camera? It's a rear view camera,
That's okay. Just know that it happens, and talk to people, and communicate with people, and don't get upset.
It's like I gotta go out and get some shoulder pads, football shoulder pads. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna install on one side a camera facing backwards, another one camera facing that way, and then maybe another camera with a 360 over here. And that's
I did that with the 360.
Yeah.
I ran out with the camera with my main camera, and then I had a 360 over my shoulder.
I remember everything. You had your GoPro strapped to your chest that one time.
Oh yeah, that too.
He was out all over the place, It
was, but the point of that is, there's so many moments of opportunity. You just have, I have to watch and pick my moments. But for a wedding, tell me about how it goes with a wedding.
Again, for a wedding, you already have spoken to the bridezilla prior to having.
Oh, they're not all bridezillas.
Yeah, no. But but no, it's their way or the highway. It's like, here's what you're being hired for. Of course, you're being paid quite a bit of dinero. And you're going to want as many cameras as possible to catch the wedding itself. And then with the after party, with the reception, you've got to catch a lot of that as well. And, of course, the party. But she will have a list of what you have to follow, and you must follow it explicitly, because if one small detail is out of place, then you've blown it. That's it. You're done.
Okay, so we talked about picking your shots. And you just mentioned bringing in as many cameras as you can. Can you elaborate a little bit there?
Okay, that's for, of course, an event like a wedding, to where if one camera goes down, you want another camera just in case. Because I used to cover some weddings where...
We're talking about video, photography?
Yeah, video. We're talking video. And this is back during a time of SVHS cameras, and if one was known to have troubles, you've got to have another one running at the same time.
So you're basically just doing a 3-camera shoot.
Oh no, more than a 3-camera shoot.
More than a 3-camera shoot.
No, we're talking about 3 cameras at each area where the camera was supposed to be shooting. So we'd have 3 cameras in location number 1, 3 cameras in location number 2, and 3 in location number 3.
That sounds really overkill to me.
Well,
I would say, at most 3 cameras for the reception. And then, people do the roaming cameras differently, and you actually have a person, so it depends what your budget is.
Here's what it is. 1 camera is for the production. 1 is for Murphy's Law, because if something bad's gonna happen, it will happen. And number 3 is for, oh, please God, help this footage turn out, kind of routine. So it's not, and really,
what if you have no budget and you only have, what's the most minimum amount of cameras? 3?
Then you're going.
I always say
3.
2. If you're photography, 2 cameras. That way you can have 2 different, 2 different lenses, your main lenses on there. That way you could just switch back and forth depending on what you're doing. For videography, I've covered weddings by myself, 1 camera. Doesn't always work that way, but depending what the budget is, depending what they're paying, you can make it work. But for the ceremony, 2 or 3 cameras. It's very, very nice. For the reception, they want you to capture that moment. They really, really
That's
do.
true. The first
and you
dance.
don't want to be both the photographer and the videographer, because it's very hard, and it just works so much better. Get 2 professionals, and if you're hired to be one of them, seek out the other person, talk to them, work out a game plan. I've seen times where a photographer will be taking these pictures, and the videographer is all over inside these pictures. It's because the 2 never talked. And of course the videographer goes, well, I didn't know they were taking the picture. And the photographer says, I can't believe they kept getting inside my picture. Because they weren't talking.
Coordination.
You have to coordinate with them. You're both working for the same client. You both want to give that client your best. Work together, play well together, and because you never know what might come up, and it just makes for a better product.
And that's for the high end gigs, like a wedding, of course, or a corporate event. When you're talking about, again, just 2 cameras minimum or what have you, now we're talking hobby. Let's take that off the table right there. Because
I feel like most of our audience starts off as hobby, because that's how they start. They start getting everything.
But before you go out and tell a big event that you can cover something, you better be sure you have the right gear, because they're going to look at what you said you could cover our wedding. You show up with this little Sony Handycam and an old DSLR.
You know how many gigs you can get with a little Sony Handycam, which, by the way, a cell phone's now pretty much better depending on the cell phone and stuff. But you can, because people don't want to pay a lot, or they can't, and they're like, look, I'm just going to have a friend record this. Can you just do this? And you can do that as practice, and now you have a gig underneath your belt, and you use that for the next thing, and then it keeps building. I mean, a lot of people started doing stuff for free. It sucks, yes. Very tiny events. You talk about corporate events. Corporate events has many levels. I've done sort of corporate events on a very small level with gear, and I straight up tell them, look, I don't have the most professional gear. What are you looking for? They're like, we just need archive. Let's see, this is the thing with a lot of corporate events. Archival footage, and we said that before on Bandwidth. What is archival footage?
So bottom line is everybody's got to be out on the table with what they're expecting.
Well, what is archival footage? That's I talked enough. You tell me what archival footage is.
Archival footage is just shots taken of an event, depending upon the budget given. It's something they keep in a backlog to look back on.
It's just to prove that it happened.
That sounds like insurance work.
No, it's just to prove that it happened.
We got archival footage of this.
And many places
flooding.
do that. They pay somebody just for archival footage. I just get paid by a church to cover their pageants. No, it's not a church I was a member of. It's just literally their video guy would go to his family church or with his family for the holidays, and then they would pay me to come in on Easter and Christmas and film their pageants, and it may never be seen again. It's literally just to go into things like this happened. A lot of corporate events,
they just want to record
do the same
it.
thing. They record the presenters. They can't use the footage anywhere, but they want to be like, this happened.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of insurance kind of stuff,
It's not just insurance.
We need a shot of the flood.
It's archival, and it might go somewhere for the people that couldn't show up one day. And it's not for public; it's internal stuff. And that's a good way to bring up your resume and get in on the side. I mean, radio stations would do that too. A lot of times it's just this happened, and then we'll take couple of the best clips and then put that out on YouTube or on their own website. But a lot of it truly is archival footage. We have this because we know what happened, and because in 20 years, in 30 years, that person that inside that play, that might be worth something one day, or be like, oh, this is now the director of whatever. Let's go ahead and find the footage of them doing this pageant, or when they presented on this topic 20 years ago, because now this is a hot topic thing. You never know what might happen.
It's like, look, we got Jim Morrison from this play he was in,
Yeah.
But yeah, talking about archival footage back again, and all sorts of footage. Where are you going to store the stuff? Just how much do you take? Like, for example, that's why we have this semi-clutter organized clutter on the table here. Is like, how much do you have, and how long do you hold on to it for?
I have more. He literally just grabbed this off of one of my shelves. I have more, and just looking at this it's like, oh man, it's like taking a
I got a
stroll
load
down memory lane.
Yeah, I got a load of VHS-C footage off in a mini storage somewhere. Oh, he's holding up the small stuff.
Oh, they don't even know what this is.
Mini DVs. We got mini DVs here. I remember a time when
recordable
stations,
MV. Yeah, mini disc, recordable mini disc, audio before CDs, a CD that you can play, record, rewind, record back over. Oh man, this Sony messed up when they didn't market this right. This was such a great medium.
I
They
know, I
would
got
have
one
beat
of
out the
those.
CDs.
But mini
Oh,
DV, can we
man.
say CAN TV in Chicago? They used to use these for their broadcast medium, and I was going,
A lot of people use these.
no.
I used to send the TV show that I worked on. Every network had their preferred method. Some would say send me a DV. Some would send me this format, that format.
I get a note from
And
Chicago.
then eventually
call.
they're all like, just
Yeah.
send me digital formats.
I'd get a call from
So much
Chicago.
easier now.
Hey, Mark, this is Natalie. I go, what? Your show turned to snow halfway through. I'm like, they forgot to clean their deck again. These mini DVs, I'm sorry, mini DV is one of the worst medium that just happened. It's,
I'm sure.
and I'll grump
know
and I'll
there
groan
were
about
worse.
it.
I mean, this is totally outdated, but there were worse.
How many times I'd hit myself on the head and said I should have gotten
Hey,
a high
there was a
8.
time where DVDs was your archival footage before you could store it on a hard drive somewhere, and some people still keep their archival footage on DVDs.
It's good for a backup. Good for a backup.
Yeah.
But they only last for so long. They have a degradation,
Oh,
a
yeah.
lifespan.
Everything does.
So, I mean, Toaden, you have all
Everything
sorts of backlogged footage. You have tons of stuff you never used. I mean, do you ever revisit it, or do you find a way to incorporate it in future things, or what?
Sometimes, yes. If it's for a client, this is the best way I actually keep a lot of my footage for my clients. This is your footage. Unless they pay me. If they pay me, I keep a copy somewhere. I have a hard drive just for certain things. Or if they're paying me decent, I actually make them buy me a hard drive, 2 hard drives, one for them, one for me.
Right on.
And if I had a bigger budget, and we talked about this before, you have your on-site storage, you have your off-site storage, because you never know what's going to happen on site. And ideally, you have your storage where you're working on, you have your extra, and then you have your off-site.
Now, something we were talking about.
Off-site
yeah.
meaning it uploads somewhere to the cloud or something like that.
We were talking about also was, okay, we have this old media which we use. How are we going to transfer things over? It's just like I have an old VHS-C
Oh, I
tape.
still got something I could transfer those on.
Yeah, it's like the follow-through stuff.
That was one of
between
my
the-
jobs at a university. I would transfer really old. I can't remember the medium. It wasn't like a beta cam. It was an old beta cam type thing. That we had stuff of. What's that one? The one really architect, really famous architect.
famous Frank Lloyd Wright.
Yes, Frank Lloyd Wright. First try. We have footage of him doing lectures, and so and him walking around. I think it was falling water stuff.
Okay.
And so I was archiving that footage.
So you actually were there while he was alive, and he was doing his.
No, I was taking the old format.
Oh, the old.
stuff.
Okay. I'm like,
And I
whoa.
was I was taking the original footage.
Right on.
No, actually, no, it wasn't the original. It was already a copy of a copy, and then I was sending it over to DVDs and also digitizing it so it would be in a digital archive. And I did that for that. I did that for some Nixon presentations. I did that, because I worked for a show that had it had pretty much every president since, I don't know, long before I was alive, and every major
You kept
presidential
on, yeah.
candidate. So I went through these, and that was one of the
Kept
things
you busy.
I did. Oh yeah, absolutely. Because you had to watch when you're that was a totally different process. That's a little off subject, but yeah, you're never done. Sometimes when you have storage containers full of stuff, you're never done archiving. That's kind of why it's important to pick and choose your shots, because it's easier to edit and it's easier to archive because less space. And I really do wonder what the future is, because now we have, even though we could fit so much in such a little place when it comes to digital files, we have some really large formats that take a lot of space, even digitally.
I mean, they need that for 4K and what's coming up.
Yeah,
you know?
and 8K and
I look at that and I go, wait a
Man.
minute. You know, I'm on a budget. I'm sticking with 720p and 1080p right now.
That's why I
still,
wanted
you know?
to kind of keep to the amateur starting off. What do you do starting off? You pick and choose. You make it easy for you. I'm not saying just go with the first take, but the more you do things, the more you realize that's cool. When you're shooting a film and you're low budget, you only have time. It's so hard. How do you choose a thing when you have 3 takes and there's a mistake in every single take?
I'll tell you, I've been
You
around.
get
Yeah.
better doing those
Yeah, yeah.
things. You know what to look for. You know to look at the extras to make sure they're not goofing around or doing something they're not doing. You make sure to talk to somebody. Dude, one of the first things I ever shot, I shot a music video when for one of my first actual film classes, and we had this extra. I don't know what exactly was going on with her, but every shot I had to redo a walking scene with this group of friends, and it was a really long. We had a telescope lens, and it was a really long zoom out, and or zoom in, something like that.
Okay, so you had
but
this problem.
So when she
What's
gets
up?
in this frame, she kept scratching her chest, and it just kind of looked like, you know.
So did a door open and a remote panel happen with digital lights?
Every single take, she's like doing this, and she was wearing a low cut top. And eventually, as a guy, I had to tell her, and I was like, "Hey, stop messing with your chest. Stop scratching. Stop doing whatever it is you're doing." And she stopped after that. I mean, yeah, she was embarrassed, which again, sometimes you pull somebody to the side if it's something that might be embarrassed. But if you're really quick and you don't have that time, you got to get over that shyness and just be like, "Hey, keep your hands to your side," or something. She's doing something. I could show you the footage. I'm not I'm just telling you what you were doing. You start knowing to look for these things, watching where people's hands are, watching where their eyes are, watching where people are walking. And you start to be able to direct a scene and get the overall feeling. Especially if we're talking like really...
I caught you back there digging for a big one. Whoa!
Yeah, we're talking about a really low budget where one person's wearing many hats.
Dude, I had to do that with a piece of footage once. I was shooting it, and I looked back after several takes and says, "Wait a minute, my subject back there, and she's doing very unladylike things. Oops, I'm going to have to get her out and zoom in on me." And
well, I used to, like I said, I was doing these live shows or recording, these presentations. I want to get footage of the audience. Again, you use extra cameras to shoot the audience. That way you can do cutaways and stuff like that. There was times where the director would be in my ear going, "No, not that person. Someone's picking their nose behind them. Keep going. Okay, they're about to nod. Just give them as they move. Their head comes up because that person doesn't look like he's nodding. Okay, I probably won't use it, but at least I have it. Sleeping. That person's paying attention. Very cool. That person's paying attention to something else, but they look really intent. Get a close-up in there. All right, sweet."
So this is your director telling you where to shoot and how to get.
Oh, yeah, and he's watching the entire...
Yep, that's what they're paid for.
He's got all the cameras going on, and okay, I need to cut away to the audience. Okay, he sees everyone that's sleeping, everyone that's picking their nose, people are doing whatever. And, you want to avoid those people, Not because, yes, it's funny, but that's not your job. That's not what people are looking for when they watch it.
Yeah, but when the director's back there behind your shoulders and working with a crew of many, I've seen him in action, man. I was watching a recording of a Loons game up in Midland, and they were like, "Oh, switch to that camera, move to that camera. Okay, camera 12, camera 6. Okay, wait a minute.
Oh, yeah, when you get into
somebody
sports...
somebody in the crowd. Get that crowd. They're doing the wave. Back again. Yeah, there's that one person.
When you get into sports, man, you got some good people that can watch a lot of things. And they still have a script.
Yeah.
They have a loose script that they follow because, obviously you're watching the puck, the ball, the whatever.
But again, going back to footage and gathering all this backstock footage that we have And that what we've learned over time, in the beginning, of course, we've left the camera on, we shot everything because we were so excited about what was happening. And now that we've matured as videographers, I mean, what do you see from, like, if you step back years ago compared to now, what have you improved on?
I think I improved on being able to read a situation. I could walk up and be like, okay, that person may or may not want to be on the camera. Let me go say hi to them. Not ask them if I could get them on camera. Let me just say hi and compliment their outfit and see how they react. And that's still not a full thing, because some people don't respond well to that, or they think you're trying to do something else. But I do find, like, if you only want to be, if you would respond better to me just saying, hey, can I grab you on camera, which I do that way more if they're already in character, if they look wonderful, if they're smiling, if they are posing. Hey, let me grab you on camera. Awesome, sweet, thank you. If I have to pull them out of their shell, I kind of see if I can pull them out of their shell. Usually it doesn't take much because they're there, they want to have fun.
Yeah.
But sometimes people are legitimately having a bad day, something just happened. There's been times where I go up to grab someone's video and I found out someone just broke their glasses that they paid hundreds of dollars for.
Yeah.
They don't want to be on camera, but you don't know what happened, so you kind of got to read into them, and and you could always talk to them later. It's being, people don't remember, and this was one of the things. Someone told me when I went out to do one of my first promotions things for myself. I thought I had to have, handouts and cards and give everybody something.
Yeah.
They said it's not about what you give them; it's about how you make people feel.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. It's all about the people. When you turn on that video camera, it's about the band, the people, the audience, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I remember way back when my whole deal was to get that camera rolling as soon as I got there and get up in everyone's face. And like, it's like the onslaught, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 punch, not letting up. Nowadays, I'll get to a gig or somewhere and I'll take a break, stand back, and take in the event and figure out where I really want to go and where I want to spend my time and money shooting video, and I don't get up in everybody's faces. I like I said, I look at it as an observer first, then I work into it. If a band is playing, I let them warm up with their first song. I just don't hit their first song.
See, that's interesting, because a lot of the bigger acts, you only have the first 3 songs to do photography.
Back when I was working,
but we're talking
Yeah.
independent. We're talking smaller band, smaller budget. But like, if you're gonna go shoot, like, let's say the Foo Fighters, and you have a press pass, or you were being paid to shoot the show, usually you only got the first 3. That's another reason why but those aren't the people that need to hear this. The people that need to hear how to pick your shots are the people starting off or trying something new.
Yeah.
How do you pick your shots? What's your best 2 tips of picking your shot?
Your best shot is you want to get into if you don't have a microphone that you can patch into the system or get the recording off the system, where you're getting the recording off your camera itself, is that you're going to choose a location in the room where your ear hears a comfortable mix of the sound, and you're going to shoot from that location. That's your first.
This is for recording a band.
This is for recording a band. And then also as well, you may want to talk to the band ahead of time to find out what are their 3 favorite numbers, which ones they want you to shoot, instead of just blowing all your footage, blowing all your memory away on your iPad or your camera or whatever. So it's a way of conserving your money, getting the most out of your camera, out of the event, and making
having
everyone
a
happy.
shot list,
Yes.
it sounds like.
Yeah. That
Going
kind of
ahead of
thing.
time,
Yeah.
sort of having a shot list. Mine for event coverage where you don't know what's gonna happen. Don't get lost in the details. Don't pull out your pamphlet. Your look at the convention. Okay, this panel's going on. Oh, I should get great shots. And do this and that and that. You know what? that's a good place to start, and you will get ideas from that and know what's going on. But don't get lost. Don't, if you can't have a real shot sheet, I mean, you might have like, oh, I need a medium shot of a cosplayer doing this, but you're really vague on what you're doing because you don't know what you're gonna see. Keep things kind of loose, and it's okay if you miss something. If you really want to get it again, if it was a certain pose, you can do it again. It's okay. Just not repetitively, and respect everybody, and, and live in the moment, kind of, and have fun. That's really, if you're not having fun, your energy is, people are going to read that energy. And there are times where we are working all day, sometimes all week, doing the same thing, like 2 days in a row, no sleep. And you're like, all right, I need you to hold your hand like this. And hey, that thing was really cool you did. Can you yell that one line? Thank you. You still have to, if you're tired, show that you're a happy tired. Like, man, it's been such a long week, but sorry. No, I'm here for another $1. Okay, raise your hand.
Here for another $1.
Because then they become mechanical. If you're going through the motions and being mechanical, they're mechanical. At least smile and enjoy what you're doing. If you can't get to that point, take a minute to yourself. Walk away from, depending on how you refresh yourself. Some people
and do a Jaeger bomb.
Walk. Well, I don't recommend drinking while you're working.
Yeah, of course, because if you have to drive home, the cops are going to find out anyway. So yeah, keep it straight while you're out on the shoot.
I understand sometimes at the end of a long day where it's a party atmosphere where you don't really need to. That's different. I think that's horrible advice. You should be ashamed. Shame. Ding, 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 ding. Shame. Ding, 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 ding.
If you have to walk, that's cool. But if you have to drive,
for a walk.
Stay straight. Don't drink. And drive.
Take a moment for yourself. If you have to go to your car and take a nap, if you'll recover from that nap and be awake. Because, some people don't, some people are asleep, whatever. Do whatever you need to do, and no one knows your body like you do.
Unless that's special someone you're going out with. But anyway, back to the tapes.
Okay, I think we're about wrapping it up. We talked about the tapes. This show wasn't even about the tapes. It's about getting a shot. How do you get the... okay, so this topic was requested by one of our fans that's actually going through every single episode, who happens to be off camera, and he doesn't have a microphone, so...
Hey, Carl, what's up?
Did we answer your question? He was asking about how do you pick and choose your shots. Did we answer your question? Yes or no?
You give me a lot of perspectives on things that I might not have considered.
Okay.
He said we gave him more perspective. So, hey, if we gave you more perspective, if we didn't answer the question, if we can answer it better, tell us. Communicate that to us. We have a Facebook group, Media Layer Sandwich Group. We're on Twitter. Crazy Mark, Toaden. Talk to us individually. Email us. podcast@MediaLitterSandwich.com. We are looking for sponsors. Huge thank yous always to Turtle Trinkets. Check out Turtle Trinkets on Facebook. You can look through their stuff. If there's something you like, message them or go figure out where they're going to be. They're all over the Michigan, Indiana, Ohio. They're all over places. Check out Turtle Trinkets. They sell, little trinkets, pop culture type stuff. We're on DV Radio. Great shows. Barracks Talk is the main show. Charity of choice is the DV Farm. Don't know what the DV Farm is? Look it up. It's a really good charity. And
remember, PTSD dog.
He loves PTSD
dogs.
Dog.
Rock.
He has his show PTSD and the Service Dog, I believe, but Joaquin Watai, great host. He has great interviews. A lot of times you read like these Facebook articles of how someone treated a veteran and their service dog. Well, a lot of times on that show, they actually interview those people. Somehow they're able to get those people on that show, which is amazing. And there's very few like shows where where they get all these viral type articles to come out, and it's a perfect show for all these service dog type memes and articles that come out to listen and really understand. That's a great show. There's a ton of great shows on there. NAMS, Not Another Military Spouse, is a show that they're promoting heavily for good reason. It's a good show. I've done a few shows with Owl. This is a good one. Who else are we shouting out? We're, of course, shouting out all about William, who couldn't be here again today.
Let's give a big shout out to Three Wise Men and to Crusader Cross. Hey, what's up there, guys? Oh, and Otto. Oh, Electric Otto's Funk Factory.
Yes,
you
Otto.
Rule.
Otto. If we ever do a more talk show type thing, I want Otto to be my DJ off to the side.
Oh, man. He was like right there dropping the beat and making it happen big time.
Yeah, you could check Otto out in the episode 100.
He was the heart of the party. I mean, we were the brains of the party, but he was the heart of the party. He was the heartbeat of the party.
Yeah, and big thank you to Third Hand B, my nephew, who was helping
right
out
on,
with the
yeah.
raffle. There's just so many things. Just check that out. Mark does a ton of stuff. Where can they find like the hub of all your stuff?
Oh, the big hub is at crazymark.com. And by the way, thanks again, Jackie.
And I'm at Toaden.com. And you can watch the video versions of this and all my stuff at youtube.com/ToadenK. And of course, if you want to watch or listen to the podcast, we're on many podcast apps. If we're not on the podcast app you want us to be on, let us know and we'll try to figure that out. But we are on a ton of podcast apps. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Please follow. Please talk to us. Let's continue this conversation. And may the algorithms be in your favor.